Welcome to Glorious Truths Untold. Today we will be looking at the topic, Within the Second Veil, Part 3. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel and hit the notification bell to get updates whenever we post new content. Let's get started. Was the Millerite Movement a tragic mistake? Lorna, would you mind shedding some light on this one?
Sure, Samuel. But first, what is this Millerites Movement, you might ask? The Millerites Movement was a 19th century revival that helped spark the Seventh-day Adventist Church. The Millerites were the followers of the teachings of William Miller, who in 1831 first shared publicly his belief that the second advent of Jesus Christ would occur in roughly the year 1843 to 1844.
The preaching of the message by the Millerites was definitely of God.
Rightly so. The movement, which began in 1833, was the antitypical Feast of Trumpets, for by 1844 the Day of Judgment had begun. In the type, it lasted 10 days. The Day of Atonement lasted only 1 day in the type, but it has gone on for 179 years so far in the antitype, and it is not yet over.
Let us take a moment to ensure our audience understand what is meant by types and antitypes. A type is an image or representation of something that will come to pass at some future time, while an antitype is the reality of the thing which the type represents. The type may properly be called a shadow, while the antitype is the reality. Back to you, Lorna.
By implication, it would be a mistake for us to expect the closing movements to be condensed into a very small fraction of time. Our Savior was precise in commencing the fulfillment of the vernal feasts at the very times they were respectively observed under the law. However, given the fact that they are being fulfilled antitypically during the gospel dispensation, allowance must be made for that.
Is there anything specific, any pointers that God's people should look out for?
The point of vital importance for God's people to note is that events are being carried out according to God's timing, growth, and evolutionary development. When we consider that the second advent is not based on time, the only possible explanation for the delay in our arrival in the city is that the people are not yet ready to enter it.
Thank you, Lorna. Would it be possible for God to transition His chosen ones prior to them being ready?
God cannot put His people into an environment with which they have no correspondence, or they would not survive. When the character of Christ shall be perfectly reproduced in them, then will they be ready to enter. Until then, they will have to wander in the wilderness of sin for many years until they meet the conditions to enter.
Thank you again, Lorna, for joining us and shedding some light on this one. Being that we, His people, are not ready and are wandering in the wilderness of sin, some might ask, what do we need to do to meet the conditions? And what can we do to feel closer or get access to God through imputed righteousness? Answers to these questions and more will be highlighted in our next video, Within the Second Veil, Part 4.